What's good, people? About to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. I was thinking about George Foreman and his reaching out to Deontay Wilder. And, of course, me and the crew, conversation about it. We're talking about, everything that went around it with, the loss and the possibility of, Wilder bouncing back or not bouncing back and all that, and then George reaching out. And one of the things that people started saying was, people never made excuses like that before. And I'm like, now we know, there's been many fighters that made excuses. From every era, there's always been somebody, it's not like Deontay's the only one that made an excuse. Now, his was the most ridiculous I ever heard, but I thought about this, and I don't know if any of y'all really think about this, but George Foreman reaching out to Deontay. Now, my thought is, George Foreman made excuses after he lost to Ali. Remember, George Foreman said he was poisoned. He blamed his team, the same thing Wilder did. Blamed his team, blamed the people in Africa. He thinks somebody poisoned his food. I mean, all of this, and George went into a depression, man. He was never the same after that loss. Even when he fought Ron Lyle, I know people, it was a great fight. They would knock each other down, but when I see guys get beat up and dropped from a lack of defense, I just can't applaud that, man. I mean, to each his own. But he lost to Jimmy Young, who has pillows for fists. I hated Jimmy Young's style. I hated watching him fight. And he beat Foreman. If you watch Jimmy Young fights and you was to watch George Foreman fights, you'd say, how the hell did this guy beat George? George was pretty much just not there anymore. It was that hunger. I think the depression overtook all of that because now he's no longer seen as invincible, okay? And the thing is, he lost to Ali. Now, Ali was only 32. That's why, it amazes me when people talk about fighters' age as like, oh, he was old, he was washed up. Come on, man. 32 is old. I mean, each fighter is different. But anyway, that's another story. And Foreman lost to Ali, and it devastated Foreman. Now, after the loss, I think Jimmy Young was his last fight. I believe that was his last before he retired. I'm not sure. I remember, but he retired, and after 10 years, decided to come back. And it's not until he beat Michael Moorer that he really felt like finally. But here's the thing, man. George Foreman also, out of his own mouth, said that, he wasn't getting his just due. People was always saying, oh, he could just punch. Sound like somebody we know, right? And they were saying he had no skills. George could fight. George had power in both hands. He wasn't, he had, he wasn't a boxer, he was a fighter, he was a brawler. He had an odd style. He used his arms a lot to push and hold his opponent, and he threw those wild clubbing shots. Now, George wasn't slow. He wasn't the fastest. I mean, them clubbing shots, a lot. He wasn't slow. He threw shots you could telegraph because he would try to get so much power behind him. But he could throw some, wild shots. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, what's funny, man? He said out of his own mouth that he did some things to people that he feels ashamed of to this day. And he also said, because of people not giving him his credit, he said, you know what? I'm going to kill one of these guys one day, then they'll shut up. I want a body on my record. Sounds like somebody we know. And, George didn't have the best technique. He threw a lot of wild winging shots from the side. Sounds like somebody we know. So what I think is that George reaching out to Deontay Wilder is because he can relate to Deontay. I think he feels like I know how he feels after losing like that, especially when you were the favorite going in, and you know this whole the right hand, and then all of a sudden nothing. You get beat by this guy. Well, here's the thing, man. I believe his involvement with Wilder is more of a spiritual, because they're both always talking about God, and I think it's more of a spiritual type mental thing with him, where it's like, you know, don't lose your focus, you know, put God first, keep at it, and, you know, as far as technique is concerned, personally, I don't give a shit what George says to him or try to help him do. I think Wilder's just too fucking old at 34. I don't mean too old to fight. I mean to try to get this guy to learn to do basic shit, because there's a lot of basic shit he don't even do. We'll see, you know, but I doubt it. Wilder is not, he's not an intelligent fighter, and it's just been too long that he's been successful doing things the same exact way. And I don't see George. I mean, George's input, I don't think that shit's gonna mean nothing. I don't give a fuck if Floyd Mayweather does it, reaches out and helps him. I just don't see Wilder being able to really do this shit. Now, if he does it, and this is not me saying, oh, I hope he can, I just don't see it happening. I mean, when you have a fighter that knows how to fight, but they have certain flaws that are detrimental to them, they can be corrected because they get the gist of everything else. They understand how to fight. They understand why I should do this and that. Wilder's just a one-trick pony, man. I mean, come on. How do you get outboxed by Gerald Washington? I don't give a fuck that he knocked him out. Yeah, he should have knocked him out. But how do you get outboxed by Gerald fucking Washington? I mean, so I doubt very seriously that whatever George is going to say is going to really improve anything with him. But I believe that's George's interest in trying to reach out and help him, because he feels like I can relate to him, man. I had that same angry attitude, feel like I wanted to kill somebody. I didn't take the loss good. I made all kind of stupid excuses. Now, this came out of George's mouth about, he admitted he made all kind of excuses. He just couldn't come to terms that, hey, I got beat. That's Wilder. Well, Wilder has yet to say, hey, look, the better man won. No, it's like the whole glove nonsense and all, which had nothing to do. We all know that was the first fight. That shit's so stupid. It's like whatever. But yeah, I just think that that's what George's involvement is. And regardless to whatever else, even if it's beyond that, I think that's initially why he felt like he could reach out and help Wilder, because I think he felt like he could relate to him and maybe say the right things to him to like get him refocused and all of that. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, and that's all I'm going to say on this video, and I will catch you all on the next one.